Hello, beautiful Libra. What if I told you that someone in your life, someone who seems charming, helpful, or even magnetic, may be the very person the universe is now urgently warning you about? That's not just a feeling. It's a signal. And if you've clicked on this video, I can assure you it's not by accident. Welcome to Zodiac Whisper Tarot. This is a deep and spiritually guided horoscope message crafted just for you, Libra. A sacred space where astrology, intuition, and cosmic truth come together to help you step into your highest awareness and protect your beautiful heart. You're here because something inside you already knows. Maybe it's the way your energy shifts around this person. Maybe you've noticed yourself second-guessing your own thoughts. Or maybe something just feels off lately, even if you can't name it. Listen closely, the universe speaks in whispers before it screams. And right now, it is whispering your name. This message today is about a man. Not just any man, but one whose presence may be clouding your vision, pulling your energy down, and quietly rerouting the balance you work so hard to keep. Whether he's a lover, an ex, a friend, or someone new, you may have already sensed that something isn't right. And Libra, I know this is difficult for you. You're ruled by Venus, which means you're gifted with compassion, diplomacy, and the desire for harmony. But those same gifts can become your greatest vulnerability when someone uses your kindness as a doorway to control you. I want you to know this: you're not crazy, you're not dramatic, and you're not alone. Your intuition is trying to protect you. And this video will help you listen to it more clearly than ever before. But before we go further, let me take a moment to say this from my soul: thank you for being here. Truly. Every like, every comment, and every subscription means more than you know. Your support doesn't just help this message reach more people, it creates a ripple of light that reminds others they are not alone. You are part of a sacred family here at Zodiac Whisper Tarot, and your presence is deeply felt and appreciated. So if you feel this message already stirring something in you, if there's someone in your life who drains your energy or causes you to doubt yourself, then please stay. What's about to be revealed is not only validating, it may very well change how you protect your energy forever. And while you're here, drop a comment below and tell me, what led you to this video today? Has the number 6 been showing up for you lately? That's not random. That's a divine nudge, a breadcrumb on the path your spirit is walking. Type 6 if you've seen it, or just share your story. You never know who else you'll inspire with your truth. Now take a deep breath. Let your shoulders relax. This is your space. Your sanctuary. And what the universe is about to reveal to you, dear Libra, is nothing short of profound. Stay with me to the very end. You're going to need this. As we move gently from that sacred moment of awareness into deeper reflection, something starts to settle in your heart, a quiet realization that what you're feeling might not just be emotional confusion, but something influenced by the larger cosmic dance above you. This isn't just about a difficult person in your life, Libra. This is about energy. It's about your personal center being subtly pulled by planetary forces, and what you choose to do with that awareness. Right now, Venus, your ruling planet and the guardian of love, beauty, and harmonious, caught in a challenging square with Pluto, the planet of deep transformation, hidden power, and control. This celestial alignment is no small matter. A square, astrologically speaking, is a 90-degree angle that brings friction and tension but also the potential for profound growth. It's the kind of moment where your usual grace, diplomacy, and longing for peace are tested, not by open conflict, but by the undercurrents that creep in unnoticed. This month, it's as if someone in your orbit, a man in particular, has activated that square within you. He may not raise his voice or storm into your life in chaos. Instead, his presence lingers like a shadow. He might speak in subtle suggestions, make you question your own instincts, or withhold affection in a way that keeps you reaching and doubting. These aren't random feelings. They are echoes of the Venus-Pluto tension when love becomes confused with power, and connection starts to feel more like control. As a Libra, your soul is wired to seek balance. You crave the middle ground, the space where understanding flows and hearts meet halfway. But here's the truth: not everyone wants peace. Some people feed on imbalance. Some take advantage of your soft heart, knowing you'll offer the benefit of the doubt again and again, just to keep the scales from tipping. And in moments like this, when Pluto presses hard on Venus, your desire for fairness can quietly turn into self-sacrifice. You may find yourself walking on eggshells, convincing yourself that he means well, or that you're just too sensitive. That voice in your head that says, "Maybe it's me," didn't start with you. It was planted there by repeated interactions with someone who benefits from your confusion. It's time to dig deeper, not into him, but into the energetic imprint he's leaving behind. How do you feel after he calls? When he walks into the room? Are you lighter or heavier? Freer or smaller? This square also invites a necessary question: are you seeking harmony at the cost of your own inner truth? Because sometimes, what we call keeping the peace is really just avoiding discomfort. But nothing that's real, nothing that's built on love, will ever require you to silence your inner voice. That still, small whisper in sitteth, that's where your wisdom lives. That's where your freedom begins. And if we go even deeper, there's a gentle truth found in the wisdom passed down for centuries. Not every battle is yours to fight, and not every presence in your life is meant to stay. You were not created to carry the burden of proving your worth to someone who cannot see your light. Let that sink in. Your beauty, your empathy, your vision for what love can be are not weaknesses. They are sacred offerings. But only those who cherish them should be allowed close to them. This planetary moment isn't punishing you, Libra's awakening you. It's saying, look again. Not to shame, but to empower. Not to isolate, but to realign. You are not here to be controlled by others' emotional storms. You are here to bring clarity to chaos, to restore peace, but first and foremost, within yourself. Let this be the moment you stop apologizing for sensing the truth. You've known it all along. And now it's time to trust it. What unfolds next, Libra, is a pattern too subtle to see clearly when you're standing too close, but once you take a step back, the cards begin to whisper truth. Justice reversed, Two of Swords, and Seven of Cups. This trio speaks not only to confusion, but to an illusion of balance, choice, and fairness that is no longer grounded in reality. These are not just cards theory reflections of what's happening inside of you right now, and around you, especially in connection to a man whose energy might feel magnetic on the surface, but leaves your spirit in knots beneath it. Justice in reverse is especially powerful for you, Libra, as the Justice card is your soul's mirror. Upright, it represents fairness, clarity, boundaries, and divine equilibrium. But when reversed, it reveals imbalanced situations where you've tolerated more than you should, where the lines between right and wrong have become blurred by emotional fog or manipulation. You may have convinced yourself that staying neutral, or seeing both sides, is the most loving thing to do. But in truth, this card reversed asks, what truth have you been avoiding to keep the peace? When paired with the Two of Swords, the message deepens. This is the card of inner conflict, of standing at a crossroads with your heart blindfolded, arms crossed over the truth. You might feel torn between wanting to believe the best in him and knowing deep down that something doesn't sit right. It's that limbo space where your intuition nudges you gently, yet your mind resists because acknowledging it might mean letting go of something or someone you've been emotionally invested in. And then, the Seven of Cups steps in, not to confuse you further, but to reveal that not all options presented to you are honest or healthy. This card reminds us that fantasy can be seductive. That promises, plans, or projections from this man may seem dreamy or sincere, but are they consistent? Do they materialize? Or do they leave you grasping at smoke, waiting, hoping, holding space for someone who hasn't truly shown up? The truth is, Libra, you might be in a situation where you believe you're making empowered choices, yet your options are built on shifting sands. That's the trap. Sometimes we think we're choosing freely, when we're actually choosing from a set of circumstances already designed to limit us. The cards are not judging you, they are shining light into the spaces where self-deception can quietly grow. And if this feels familiar, please know you are not weak. You are not naive. You are human. You care deeply. You want to believe in people, in potential, in second chances. That's not your flaw, it's your beauty. But beauty needs boundaries. Grace needs grounding. And sometimes, love requires letting go of what only looks like love on the outside. This is where the ancient wisdom comes in, not from superstition, but from truth passed down through every tradition. Protect what is sacred inside you. Give your care to those who nurture it, not to those who confuse you and call it connection. As someone once said with gentle certainty, you can forgive 70 times 7, but you must still know when to walk away. And you will know, Libra. These cards are not here to alarm you, but to wake you up. Soft light will help you lift the veil and see the energy you've been entangled with clearly. Clarity is a gift. It does not demand that you act in haste. It simply asks you to pause, to breathe, and to tell yourself the truth you've known all along. Real love does not require you to question your own worth. You are allowed to choose peace, not confusion. You are allowed to step away from what drains you, even if it once felt like home. Let this reading be your mirror. Let it gently guide you back to your center. And if this resonates with your current journey, I invite you to share your reflection in the comments below. Have you felt this fog of indecision? Have you been trying to see clearly through promises that keep shifting? You're not alone. Your voice matters. Let's hold space for each other. Type the number 7 if this message stirred something in you, that sacred number of reflection and inner wisdom, and let the healing begin. Sometimes, the most powerful form of healing begins not with a grand decision, but with a quiet pause. After recognizing the imbalance reflected in the tarot, it's natural to want to fix things, to understand him, to hold space for who he could become. But Libra, your gift isn't to carry another person's emotional weight, it's to realign with your own inner harmony. This part of your journey asks something deeper of you, not to fix him, but to free yourself. Not to decode his behavior, but to reclaim your energy. And this isn't selfish, it's necessary. You see, when we spend our days analyzing someone who gives us mixed signals or keeps shifting their truth, we start to forget how clear love is supposed to feel. Clarity has no agenda. Respect doesn't require translation. And yet, when a person pulls you into an emotional maze, your natural response, especially as a Libra, is to try to understand, to empathize, to bring peace. But what happens when the more you try to understand them, the more you lose yourself? This is where the real work begins, and it starts with acknowledgement. Step 1 is facing the truth, not with bitterness, but with softness. You can love someone and still admit they are not good for you. You can wish them healing and still choose to protect your peace. And it's okay if part of you wants to keep believing in the better version of him, but you also need to believe in the better version of you, the one that doesn't have to shrink in someone else's shadow. The second step is letting go of the idea that your understanding will save him. Change doesn't happen because we love someone enough, it happens when they decide to evolve. Your love may be real, but if it's one-sided, it turns into sacrifice. And that is not the love you're meant for. You are not here to be someone's emotional translator. You are here to be loved in your native language, clearly, completely, and without conditions. Each morning, before the noise of the world enters, take a moment to breathe deeply and imagine a soft light wrapping around you, a gentle silver-white glow. This light is not fantasy, it's visualization rooted in intention. It's the law of attraction in action, aligning your energy with clarity, peace, and protection. The more consistent you are with this practice, the more naturally your energy field starts to repel what's chaotic and attract what's calm. Also, begin keeping a record, either mentally or in writing, off how you feel after interacting with this man. What does your body tell you? What does your mind say? Is your heart lighter or heavier? This is not about overanalyzing, it's about recognizing patterns. When you listen to your own emotional data, you begin to make decisions from a place of strength, not survival. And if you're still holding in words you were too afraid to say or feelings you've buried for too long, try writing a letter to him that you never send. Let it all out, every disappointment, every unanswered question, every hope you had. The point isn't to confront him, it's to release what's been bottling up inside of you. Emotion is energy, and when it's held in too long, it becomes pain. But when it's expressed even privately, it becomes power. As one timeless piece of wisdom reminds us, we're not called to lose ourselves in the service of someone else's dysfunction. Love is patient and kind, yes, but it is also truthful. It never asks you to betray your own well-being. And you can't invite in something healthy and whole while your heart is still preoccupied with someone who made you feel small. So if you've been asking for a sign, consider this it. You have permission to stop trying to figure him out. You have permission to choose yourself, today and again tomorrow. And you have every right to believe that something better, something mutual, something healing is already on its way to you. But first, make room for it. Start here. Start now. And if this message resonates, drop a comment below and type 88, a sacred number of release and rebirth. Let the universe know you're ready. Perhaps what you've been sensing lately, the push and pull within your relationships, the desire to realign with your inner voice, has been pointing you toward a deeper moment of clarity. After navigating the emotional fog and recognizing the energetic imbalance, we arrive at a place where numerology and color offer subtle, yet profound guidance. These aren't random details, they're the quiet scaffolding of your personal energy system, and right now, Libra, they are calling you to recalibrate. If you found yourself in a personal year number 6 or 9, the themes around you are not coincidental. A 6-year asks you to redefine love, not in the dreamy, idealistic way, but in the real, sometimes uncomfortable choices that preserve your peace. It brings up questions like, is this relationship truly aligned with who I'm becoming? Am I overgiving in the name of love, or am I standing in mutual respect? On the other hand, a 9-year is all about closure and karmic release. It's the universe inviting you to lay something down not as a punishment, but as a necessary step so that something healthier and more aligned can take root. Numbers, much like stars, speak in vibrations. And when the number 6 shows up, it encourages you to nurture from a place of wholeness, not depletion. The number 9, meanwhile, is like the final exhale before a new beginning ripe with lessons, yes, but also freedom. If you feel you're in between chapters, neither fully in nor fully out, it's okay. That's where transformation happens. To support you in this, colors become powerful allies. Royal blue, for instance, is more than a shade, it's a frequency that supports clear communication and helps restore authority to your own voice. When you wear it, visualize your words flowing effortlessly from your throat chakra, aligned with truth and grace. This is especially important for you, Libra, since your gentle diplomacy often leads you to silence your real thoughts for the sake of keeping the peace. This color reminds you that your perspective is not only valid, it's essential. Cream white is another gentle force. It represents purification, a mental detox from overthinking, comparison, and old patterns that no longer serve. When you're around someone who drains your spirit, this color can act like a soft filter between you and their influence. It doesn't shut down your empathy, it simply keeps it from being used against you. Try incorporating cream into your space, your clothes, or your journaling rituals this week. Let it soften the edges of your inner dialogue. And then there's rose clay pink, the tone of inner compassion. Not romantic love, not performance love, but the kind that says, I am worthy even when I am healing. It's the color that soothes the critical voice inside, the one that sometimes blames you for staying too long, or not seeing the signs sooner. But the truth is, you saw them when you were ready. And now, you are. A simple meditation to realign can help you carry these energies into your day. Before interacting with the person you're questioning, or even just when thinking about them, close your eyes and imagine blue light expanding across your chest, your throat, your brow. Let it cool any emotional inflammation. Let it restore calm. Then breathe into a soft white glow that clears your mind. And finally, wrap it all in a gentle pink haze that cradles your heart with kindness. These tools don't erase the challenge, but they fortify your field. They anchor you back to yourself. And sometimes, in a world that constantly pulls us outward, that's the most radical thing you can do. You don't have to prove your worth, Libra. You only have to remember it. And if you've been noticing the numbers 6 or 9 showing up lately, or if these colors have been drawing your eye, drop a comment below and tell me what signs the universe has been sending you. Your insight could be the very mirror someone else needs today. It's often in the quiet corners of our lives, those in-between moments when the noise has settled and you're left alone with your thoughts, that the real weight of someone's presence becomes clear. Maybe you've started to notice that your joy doesn't flow as freely, that your sense of safety in your own skin feels shaken, or that your dreams have become smaller than they used to be. And this, Libra, is where awareness must deepen, because the impact of an unhealthy connection is rarely limited to just one part of your life. It leaks. It spreads. And over time, it begins to touch everything: love, money, health, and even your ability to move forward professionally. Let's begin with love, since that is the domain closest to your heart. You may have thought that your silence, your patience, or your emotional withholding was a form of maturity, a sophisticated way to keep the peace. But sometimes, silence isn't strength. Sometimes, it's self-abandonment disguised as grace. When a man uses your empathy as a tool to manipulate or dominate, your natural instinct to smooth conflict may lead you to tolerate too much. Love that is real doesn't require you to shrink. It doesn't confuse you into questioning your own needs or feelings. It allows expression, not suppression. So if you find yourself going quiet, not because you found peace, but because speaking up feels unsafe or pointless, know that this is not emotional maturity. This is emotional exhaustion. And what about your finances? The energy of imbalance doesn't just stay in your heart. It often shows up in your wallet, too. Be cautious of any man who pushes you into shared ventures, sudden investments, or asks for just a little help, with promises of payback that never seem to arrive. Manipulative people often know how to make emotional pressure feel like love. But genuine respect honors your boundaries, financial ones included. If you're constantly lending, covering, or compensating, ask yourself, is this really partnership, or is it exploitation cloaked in romantic language? The body is wise and honest, even when the mind is full of excuses. If you've been waking up tired, suffering from headaches, or carrying a foggy sense of heaviness in your chest, your nervous system might be reacting to more than just stress. It may be protecting you from an emotional threat. That constant sense of anxiety, even when things seem fine, is not something to ignore. It's your intuition translated into biology. The lack of sleep, the stomach tension, the inability to rest, all of these can be signs that you're not just overwhelmed, you're energetically entangled with someone who drains your life force. In your career, the consequences may be subtle but equally impactful. If this man happens to be a coworker or even a superior, the emotional dynamic can become dangerously blurred. It's essential that you keep a clear line between your personal truth and your professional identity. Avoid sharing intimate details. Avoid letting emotional manipulation follow you into meetings or cloud your decision-making. You don't owe anyone access to your inner life at work. Hold your professional space like a boundary, not a bridge. In all of this, remember a gentle truth: you were never meant to carry what depletes you. You were created to nurture, yes, but not at the cost of yourself. Wisdom doesn't always speak with thunder. Sometimes, it shows up in the simplest signs: the knot in your stomach, the "I know" that rises in your throat, the sigh that escapes without permission. Pay attention to those signs. They are holy. They are guiding you back to yourself. If any of this resonates with what you've been feeling lately, take a moment to share your experience in the comments. You never know who might read your story and feel less alone. And if you've been feeling this way but haven't spoken it aloud yet, drop the number 5 below, a sacred symbol of change, transition, and the grace to begin again. You don't have to fix it all today. You just have to start by acknowledging what your heart already knows. And now, sweet Libra, take a breath. Let your shoulders drop. You've made it to this moment not by accident, not by chance, but because your soul was ready to hear what your mind may have been avoiding. There is something beautifully sacred about realizing you are allowed to choose yourself, even when it means walking away from someone you once held close. You were never meant to live in someone else's shadow, adjusting your light to fit their comfort. You were not created to be a mirror for another's needs, but a flame, steady and sovereign, glowing in your own truth. Maybe you've been quiet for too long. Maybe you've convinced yourself that confusion was a sign of maturity, that staying silent was keeping the peace. But true peace, Libra, begins within. It isn't found in relationships that leave you second-guessing or emotionally depleted. It isn't something you chase, it's something you protect. Ask yourself, has this person helped me return to myself, or have I slowly forgotten who I am in their presence? And here's a gentle but powerful truth: the first step toward healing doesn't always look like leaving. Sometimes, it looks like seeing. Seeing clearly. Naming what is really happening. Refusing to explain away the ways your soul has been dimmed. Because when you finally call it what it is, you open a door for change. And once you open that door, even just a crack, the light begins to pour in. You've learned so much in this video, not just about the cosmic alignment and the tarot's quiet warnings, but about how your heart responds when it's misaligned with your spirit. You've discovered how to listen to your body, how to trust your own observations, and how to center yourself with the help of color, breath, and reflection. The steps we've explored aren't meant to be mastered in one day, theory meant to be returned to, slowly, gently, with compassion. So now I ask you, what would it feel like to finally reclaim the balance you so deeply crave? What would change in your life if you gave yourself the same empathy you offer others so freely? If you honored your own boundaries like sacred altars instead of fences to be negotiated? Could you imagine a version of yourself that no longer overextends to be chosen, but instead becomes magnetic by simply standing in your truth? If something in you stirred today, I invite you to share it. You are not alone. This space, Zodiac Whisper Tarot, is a community of souls walking through similar shadows, remembering their light. Tell me in the comments, what part of this reading felt like it was written just for you? What signs has the universe been sending your way that you can no longer ignore? And if you're ready, truly ready, step back into your center, type this declaration: I reclaim the balance of my life. Let it be your beginning. And as we close this moment together, let me offer my deepest gratitude to you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for choosing healing. Thank you for every like, every comment, every subscription that helps this space grow, not just as a channel, but as a sanctuary for clarity, growth, and cosmic truth. Your support means the world. It's what allows messages like this to find the hearts that need them most. So if you haven't already, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to Zodiac Whisper Tarot, and share it with someone you love. You never know who might be waiting for exactly this nudge, this mirror, this moment of awakening. Libra, you are so deeply worthy. Not of just love, but of a love that doesn't ask you to question yourself. Not of just connection, but of connection that lifts you. Not of just balance, but of balance that begins inside and radiates outward into everything you touch. Until next time, keep listening to the quiet truth inside you. It knows the way home. And I'll be right here when you need a reminder.